Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, and we're going to talk about Nintendo and diversity and inclusion. Nintendo has stated that they're going to increase diversity and inclusion at Nintendo, specifically bringing more women into leadership roles. Now, this is probably somewhat of a reaction to the situation with Blizzard, and we'll talk about that. We were actually going to do a video on Nintendo responding to Blizzard, and we'll talk about it in this video. But yeah, this is a pretty interesting development, because for the last couple of years now, I know a lot of gamers have been like, Japan's never going to bend the knee. Japan isn't going to cater to Western sensibilities. Japan isn't going to get on board the diversity and inclusion bandwagon like Western publishers. And here we are. Yet here we are. So this is Nintendo. Nintendo, after Bandai Namco made their announcement. We'll talk about that, because I don't think I did a separate video on Bandai Namco and their really bland logo, but they're changing their logo and their whole purpose, and they want to focus on games for everybody, which is fine. You want to sell to as many people as you can sell to, but sometimes things get weirdly political. Capcom, there were leaked documents at Capcom, if you remember last year, that they were going to push more into being more diverse and inclusive. Now, what that means is subjective. I mean, it could mean, hey, we're going to have 4% of women on staff instead of 2% of women on staff, or what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't panic just yet. I wouldn't think that the gaming industry is going to be completely upended just yet. The Japanese games are going to suddenly go woke just yet. But it does appear that more and more companies are hopping on this bandwagon, for lack of a better term. We'll talk about that, and maybe some of the reasons as to why they're doing that. It could be that they're getting advice from Westerners on how to sell more to the Western market, getting faulty advice, kind of like Crunchyroll. Remember, Crunchyroll was telling these Japanese studios to develop XYZ kind of animated content, and then they were turning around and giving us like X-Arm and High Guardian Spice, and yeah. Anyway, let's talk about it. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 243,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We do talk a little bit about the gaming industry. Mostly we talk about censorship in the gaming industry, and I have to wonder if this push into diversity and inclusion might lead to more censorship. Currently, Nintendo is one of the last companies that allow, at least on consoles, that allows mostly uncensored work to appear on the console. Sony's gone crazy with censorship, which is weird, because it used to be the other way around, that Nintendo censored everything, and then when the PlayStation came out, all these developers lined up and jumped ship to Sony because the stuff wouldn't be censored, right? And now we've done a complete 180, and now it seems like Nintendo allows more companies to publish whatever the hell they want to, as long as they disclaim it or rate it or whatever, and Sony is the one that keeps censoring everything. Because they don't want to offend the West, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, Niche Gamer, and we'll go out to some other sites too. Nintendo have announced their diversity goals to have more women in managerial positions at Nintendo offices around the world. As stated in Nintendo's corporate governance report for investors, discussing how they intend to achieve their values of maximizing long-term continuous corporate value. One of these points includes ensuring diversity in key personnel within the organization. Now, this is key. Nintendo's corporate governance report for investors. And there's been a lot of talk lately about ESG, which is, basically what the social conscience of your company is. And a lot of investors, like I think it's BlackRock, they will not give you money unless you're showing some signs of wokeness. Let's put it that way. And if Nintendo is looking to, get some more investors, of course, they're going to have these bullet points. Now, whether or not they're actually going to, adhere to them, it's a whole nother story. Because we'll talk about Blizzard. Like, Blizzard has given lip service to quote unquote wokeness for years, and then we saw how they actually are, so it doesn't really mean anything. And this is probably a reaction to Blizzard. In summation, the company states they do not have specific targets for appointing women, foreign nationals, and mid-careers into managing positions. However, as a global company engaging in the entertainment business, which is characterized by increasingly diversifying customer needs and preferences, Nintendo feels a diverse workforce must be leveraged. We're committed to respecting the personality and strengths of each and every employee, the report states, including employees from our overseas subsidiaries. In order to respect the personality and strengths of each and every employee, including employees from our overseas subsidiaries. As such, Nintendo intends to increase the proportion of women in managerial positions at their principal offices. It's at 23% globally and 4.2% in Japan. In earlier news, Nintendo of America's CEO Doug Bowser announced that Nintendo had taken action over the latest allegations against Activision Blizzard. So let's talk about that, because that's probably what led to this. Like, oh no, we love women here at Nintendo. Not in that way. Not in that Bill Cosby way. No, we love women, and we're going to give them better jobs here at Nintendo. So also coming from Niche Gamer, Nintendo have taken action over Activision Blizzard, working with ESA for stronger stand against harassment. So Nintendo stated they've taken action over Activision Blizzard. A petition calling for Bobby Kotick's removal reached 1,800 signatures from staff across Activision Blizzard Studios as of the time of writing. Both Sony and Xbox bosses expressed their disgust at the alleged situation at Activision Blizzard, with Spencer stating they were evaluating all aspects of their relationship. Kotick has reportedly stated he will consider leaving the company if he cannot solve their issues with speed. The board of directors were reportedly considering making a workplace excellence committee to oversee the proposed steps to improve the company's culture. He's gone. They're going to get rid of him. They can't keep him. There's too much baggage. Everybody is calling for this guy's head. He's toast. The insider claims were given more credence as Activision Blizzard officially announced that just 24 hours after the reports. Along with PlayStation and Xbox, Nintendo have now made their comments on Activision Blizzard. Once again, these are comments made in internal emails to staff, this time obtained by Fanbyte. A Nintendo PR representative later told Fanbyte, "We can confirm the content of Doug Bowser's internal email to Nintendo of America staff is accurate. We have nothing further to share on the topic." Comments by Nintendo of America President Bowser came on November 19th. Sent in an email to all levels of the company, he opened with how he was distressed and disturbed by the reports. Yeah, I mean, if you're really stressing out Bowser, you must be doing something wrong, as they ran counter to his and Nintendo's beliefs, values, and policies. Bowser continued to explain the company was committed to an open and inclusive workplace where all are welcome, and also how Nintendo held itself, their partners in the industry, to that standard. And then a couple of days later, hey, we're diverse and inclusive, everybody. We're not Blizzard. That's basically what they're saying. We're not Blizzard. It's maybe why Bowser revealed that representatives at Nintendo have been in contact with Activision, have taken action, and are assessing others. So, yeah, this is probably what's up, if I had to guess. I think it's a direct reaction to this. Now, that being said, we've had other companies jump on the woke train. Bandai Namco. Again, this is about chasing global dollars. What's interesting is the biggest market for gaming right now is China. And China doesn't care about wokeness at all. They're very, very, very anti-woke. And in fact, they're outright ridiculous at this point. They're guidelines for media. So I think China's kind of off the table for a lot of these companies. I think they're just going to make their own games, kind of like they're making their own movies right now. Screw Hollywood, right? A couple months ago, Namco announced they were changing the logo and the vision for Namco. According to a press release, the company wants to build brand value, increase visibility. What is this? That's a scary picture. Take the poll before midnight. According to a press release, the company wants to build brand value, increase visibility in multiple regions, and make its purpose and existence known. They want a brighter future for everyone. Again, this is corporate speak. We're going to become more diverse and inclusive and produce diverse and inclusive products for diverse and inclusive people. Whether or not they actually do or whether or not they try that and there's pushback from gamers and they wind up going back to tried and true, formulas, it remains to be seen. Same with Capcom. There were leaked documents. You guys probably remember that. We did a video on it, that they were going to tone down sexualizing women in games. They were going to tone down, other stuff. They were talking about how Miles Morales is a positive example of POC representation. Last of Us Part 2 are cited as positive examples for LGBTQ plus representation. We saw changes to Resident Evil, the re-releases not long after this, So people were like, oh yeah, Capcom's never going to bend the knee. Yeah, they did. Now, it could be because that was a VR version of Resident Evil 4, I think it was, and it was on Oculus, which is Facebook, but still. All the game publishers are starting to jump on this train now. And it probably does have something to do with venture capital, with investors. It's expected now. You have to say the right things to get a seat at the table and to get the money you need to keep your company running, I guess. I don't know. We'll see what happens. At the end of the day, I think these companies would be best served to produce games that sell. I'm not saying that there can't be more opportunities for certain groups of people. I think there always should be. But if you're putting a whole bunch of resources into producing games for what is statistically a very small number of people that would buy those games, financial disaster could also ensue. I'm just saying. Then again, a hell of a lot of people like Animal Crossing, right? And Animal Crossing is definitely a game for literally everyone. Unless you hate Animal Crossing, then don't play it. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.